What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back with another episode of Qualified TV. Man, I feel like I ain't gonna lie. I feel like I've been going crazy all season. I'm not gonna hold y'all. And this guest I got this week, is no different. I won't even say too much. I'll let him introduce himself. And then we'll just hop right into the interview, as we typically do. So yeah, let the people know who you are, man.
Yeah, what's up, world? So my name is Dorian Giles. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Went to the University of Missouri with my guy right here. That's kind of how we met. And man, I'm in the pro athlete management space. That's what I do. I'm also a licensed attorney in Texas. So yeah, man, that's a little bit about me. So, but I'm sure we're gonna get into so much more. So let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So would you say that sports in general was your first love, or when did your love for sports begin?
Um, First love. True, like something that I really enjoyed that I was doing like every day. Yeah, I would have to say between art and sports, specifically basketball. But like, yeah, I remember being very into art early as well. But yeah, I'll say I'll put that in there. Yeah, I definitely love sports. For forever.
That's real. That's real. So with the art aspect, what type of art specifically?
I mean, I dabble just like every other kid do, right? I was drawing. Honestly, I started with tracing, but
Hmm.
then, I guess just learning the different movements and stuff like that, I kind of created my own ability or developed my ability to be able to draw, on my own. And so I still dabble in it a little bit, nothing too crazy, but I do it a little bit here and there still.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
When do you feel like sports kind of took over in regards to being like the main thing, or the main kind of like focus or thing that got your energy in life? And when did that happen?
I mean, shoot, when I had to figure out where I wanted to be, I mean, when I was in high school, how I go, like when you're trying to figure out what you're gonna go to college for, you're like, okay, well, I want to make money. I want to be able to take care of my family, but I also want to have fun. And then so I started exploring like, okay, well, I wanted to go, originally I wanted to go to college to play sports, you know what I mean? And I had a variety of different um I guess reasons that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But like I figured like, hey, I don't want to go D2. I don't want to go JUCO or anything. If it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out in Mizzou. If it don't, it don't. It didn't work out in Mizzou. But uh, I wanted to be able to do something. I wanted to go to school for sports or either work in sports. And so I was like, yo, Mizzou had just um I think it was the first year they had their sports management program, and I seen that, and so I was like, okay, sports management. I have no idea what that is, but I'm gonna look into it. So I looked into it a little bit, and people said it could end in careers like being an agent, things like that. They work directly with pro athletes. They do all this. They can make a lot of money if they're successful. So I was like, all right, bet. I don't really know anything about what that is, but let me try it. I'm 17. Let me figure it out. Let me try it. So that's really all it was. I honestly didn't know much other than I just wanted to try it, when I went to school. And so from there, it just kind of developed. So, like I said, it just started from figuring out what I wanted to go to college for. And then from there, it kind of developed.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you wanted to originally play sports in college, and so your decision to go to Mizzou, I know you mentioned being from KC, but
Mm.
was playing like was playing at Mizzou, or the idea of playing at Mizzou, more so like this is the school I'm deciding to go to, so if it work out there, cool, or like was there a desire to play at Mizzou specifically, and that was part of the reason why you went?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go to Mizzou in general, to be honest. A lot of my big homies, like a former player, Marcus Demon, he went there. And I visited him and some of my other big homies and my big cousin, like maybe a couple years prior to that. And I was like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? I want to go to a big university. I like Mizzou. It's like, I don't know. It's just when you're a young high schooler, it's like Mizzou just was it just felt like, we went there. So now we look at it like it's dope, it's cool or whatever. But back then it was like, dang, Mizzou is tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's dope. So I was like, yeah, I want to go here just in general. But if I can have opportunity to play there, like dope. Like just I mean, because I had played with some D1 caliber players before, and I was like, I feel like I could compete. So I was like, anything, let me try it. You know what I'm saying? I went to the try. I wasn't the reason it didn't work out my freshman year. I didn't even get to try out. I came from a school in the inner city, and I didn't even know that you needed all these things to even be able to
Mm,
try out. You needed
yeah.
physical, all this paperwork you had to sign. And I literally walked to I just went to the tryout, and then they was like, "Oh, sorry, you can't." And they didn't have tryouts no more until I was like a senior.
Mm,
And so by then I was a manager for the team, and I just kind of relaxed. Sophomore year I was about to leave to go play somewhere, but my mom was like, she was like, I want you to finish where you started. She was like, is this going to be more of a hobby, or like, what is this going to be? Like, you're already in sports management, so on and so forth. Long story short, no excuses. It just didn't work out for me. And it is what it is. And God has proven to be faithful, from there on out.
absolutely. Yeah, I remember having a moment like that. I want to say it was my sophomore year. So like coming out of high school, I didn't play varsity my senior year. So I mean I didn't play. So I didn't like I wasn't getting recruited or anything like that. So when I decided to go to Mizzou, I never really came with the idea of like walking on, but getting to Mizzou, like playing in the rec, and even just playing for that first year, like I found that like my competitive nature was still there. And so like being young in those first couple years, I was like, man, if I still care this much and if I still like, feel like I'm playing this hard or want to play this hard, should I consider, going somewhere else? And it was ironic because in my sophomore year, after my first semester, I actually got kicked out of school for my grades being too low. And so I was contemplating going back home. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, if I do got to go back home, do I go back home and try to get into school and try to play somewhere, But me and my mom had a similar conversation where she was just basically saying, I think you started something really good there. And I think that you should finish it, and not to say that your dreams or what you want to do is impossible, but she always knew I could find a lane within sports in general that didn't have to be playing. So, she didn't want me to
Uh,
give up on that dream of getting my degree either. So I definitely feel that and understand that as well. When getting
yeah.
to Mizzou and when getting into the sport management program, what all do you feel like you kind of learned at Mizzou, or what were some of the key things that let you know that was the path you wanted to continue on post undergrad?
So I would say early on it was confusing, you know what I mean? Sports management is very broad, especially being that it was a new program. So they were teaching us about a variety of different sports. To be honest, that I didn't have much of an interest in at the time. We talked in class, we talked about the business of soccer and the minor leagues and baseball and all these different things. And I'm just like, yo, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to work in a ticket office for a minor league baseball team. I don't want to do none of that. So I'm like, no disrespect to nobody who does that. But it's like when I became a manager for Mizzou basketball, one of the coaches, his name was Tim Fuller. He had, been around the industry, worked with different pros and stuff like that. He had done some dope stuff. He gave me some advice on like kind of how he got to where he had gotten to and what I probably should do. Um, and so, through that, I started working with an elite AU team called Mocan, where I was from. Just being able to assist with practices and different things like that. Working alongside this coach named Drew Molatoris. So I got to see some good youth basketball, like the highest level of youth basketball and stuff. And then I started to grow a love for player development, like training them. And then when I was a manager at Mizzou, I was working with some of the college guys as well. After practice, they'll call me, they'll be like, hey D, let's go to the rec, let's get some work in. So, we'll be at the rec on like a Saturday morning when nobody's there. Just, I'm training them, different things like that. And I used to train like Name and Right and Takey Gil Caesar. Those are, back in the day.
Yeah.
But so then I grew a love for the player development. So kind of it wasn't nothing specifically um it wasn't so much what I learned in class, but what the opportunity of just being a sports management major in general and being able to get that manager opportunity, the exposure that gave me, that's kind of what propelled me to meeting Drew Hanlon, who is a huge NBA trainer. And then I got my first opportunity with him right out of college in 2016 to come work with him when he moved to LA. So, we're in there training the likes of like Brad Beal and Zach LaVine and um, Jordan Clarkson, and all these other people. And so I was like, yo, this is really dope. And so that's what I wanted to do initially. But to answer your question, just that being exposed to the sports ecosystem at Mizzou overall, that's kind of what got me to where I'm at. And that's what I learned. I just learned, I don't know, I guess just being a part of the being in the right position, man. Just being in the right position for real.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely get that. And I think that you hear a lot of people talk about it all the time in regards to just putting yourself in a position to get opportunities and to
Mhm.
be seen or to even meet people who want to mentor you, who want to see you grow and develop and be able to get into the space that you want to get into, whether that's the
Right.
space they're in or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So I feel like what you just described was a huge aspect of that. Um, Trying to figure out what I want you to talk about first. I kind of want you. I think I want to hear your definition of player development because I think a lot of people the assumption or the first thought is okay, training or developing them as a player. But I personally feel like just based on conversations I've had, things I've read, watched, you know, stuff of that nature, that I feel like that definition could go much deeper. So how would you define, you know, player development from your perspective?
Well, I mean, in context, like um of what I was talking about earlier, that was training. So what I was doing with, the players and naming and taking Mizzou and the other youth kids and out in LA with the NBA guys, that was training. But in general, kind of like player development is just like, you know, they're human beings, you know what I mean? So kind of like what I do. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I do in my role as a pro athlete manager, right? So like player development is a part of that, which is just human development. So you understand the person and you understand, their strengths and their weaknesses, and you try to, kind of fill some of the gaps there for them. You know what I'm saying? You put them in the right positions to be able to explore some of their other interests, to educate themselves, to take some things off of their plate, you know what I mean? To assist him however you can in becoming a better man, athlete, whatever hat they may wear, whether that's, I mean, husband, brother, whatever it may be. Like, you just want to position yourself and develop yourself well enough as a professional and as a person to be able to, have a meaningful contribution, not to just their career, but to their life. And so I think that, a more holistic approach to player development is both that athlete piece and that personal piece, which I think in 2023, a lot of more people are being conscious about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think I love what you said about the different hats and knowing that they wear different hats. So how can you contribute to how they have to wear each of those hats? Because they are human and it goes much further past being an athlete. We'll get into that when we talk about humble over hype, because that's coming up. But how did the opportunity with Drew Hanlon come about exactly? Like how did you get that opportunity? And then just speak more to just what was that experience like being around like Drew as a trainer, but also being around those like NBA stars and those athletes, and just what's that environment like even?
So how did Drew happen? I know hustle, everything I done did was for the most part God and and hustle. But how did that? Oh, so one of my big bros, what I'm saying, RIP to my boy Archie, he went to Mizzou too. He was a year older. He was a manager at Mizzou too, before I started. Um, and so he told me about a coaches clinic Drew was having. Drew was from St. Louis.
Mhm.
So he's having a coaches clinic in St. Louis. And then my boy Archie was like, "Hey D, you know what I'm saying? Like, roll with me to this." I was like, "All right, bet." Like, one thing about me, I'll be down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anything as it pertains to like elevating yourself, I'm like, what's up? Let's do it. So we went. I was like, yo, I gotta meet him. Like, I don't want to just be here. It's mad coaches in there. It's mad high school coaches and other people in there. But I'm like, I gotta meet him. So I was like, bro, let's just wait. Like, let's stay literally to the end until every coach talk to him and do all that. I was like, let's just sit in here. So we sat there, and then I went up to him and just kind of tapped in with him. I don't know if I got his number right there. I don't remember when I got his number. I probably did. And then he had another one. I went by myself. Because the first time I tried to tap in with him, it wasn't really he didn't have the time or anything like that. So I was like, all right, bet. So one thing about me, I'm pretty persistent. So I hit him up again. He let me know he was having another coach's clinic. So I did the same thing. I waited and I tried to take him to eat after so I could talk to him. He was busy again. So from there, I just kept on banging his line. Like I kept on texting him, just seeing what's up, tapping in, letting him know what I wanted to do. He told me if he had any opportunities come up, he doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? He does pre-draft every year. I think at the time he was doing some stuff in like Myrtle Beach or somewhere over there. But then I think when was it? It might have been my last semester in school. He hit me up and was like, "Yo, I'm moving to LA. You know, you can come. I'm gonna need some people to help me train. You know what I'm saying? Some people to assist me." And he was like, "It's not paid, but you'll be around the guys and you'll learn." And I was like, "Say less." So basically, I had to explain that to my mom and why that was meaningful. And, I'm young and, in my mind, I don't remember who told me, but somebody was like, uh, if you sacrifice your entire 20s, you know what I'm saying, to developing what you want to do and becoming what you want to become, not considering, how much you're getting paid or anything, but focusing on opportunity, you probably position yourself to live like a king or queen the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so that stuck with me. I was like, I'm young, I have time to fail and do things and not make money. So I had to explain that to my family, and that was a thing. But ultimately, they ended up supporting it, and that's what happened with Drew. I was out there, and the rest is history. I talked to Drew. I go see Drew every summer. You know what I mean? Ever since I worked with him, I go see him every summer and still stay tapped in. But to the second part of the question, how was it? I mean, it was one of those things that because I was around college athletes every day at Mizzou,
Mhm.
being able to, just do what I do as a manager and even play ones with them and kick it with them and all that. It was like, I mean, it honestly was like these dudes, they was just regular. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just been around a lot of guys for a long time and playing sports and all that. So when I got up there, it was kind of like they were cool. I mean, just kind of it was interesting to see how they were as people because I don't think at that point I had ever really interacted with a pro. You know what I'm saying, understanding their personalities and stuff like that. But yeah, they was just regular dudes. Some of them childish. You know what I'm saying, but they were very consistent and and honestly, what I learned from them and how I kind of navigate my career is I saw the consistency that they applied to their crafts, and I was like, yo, everybody who aspires to be something, and no matter what industry they're in, they have to be this level of consistent. Like these dudes' workouts are not flashy or crazy. A lot of the stuff you see on Instagram, it's not that. It's literally just understanding their spots and where they want to get the ball at, and they don't work on things that they don't do in the game.
Mm.
All they do is hella reps of what they're gonna do in the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it was actually boring to be honest sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
just the same thing over and over and over all summer. But Drew was very technical. Drew literally one of the parts of the internship you have to create a curriculum. Like I had to create my own training curriculum. It was like 15, 20 pages. But his is like thousands of pages. But it's like you literally are creating this curriculum where you're breaking down each move, like, take a step with your right foot, dribble with your right hand. It's all these little technical pieces that Drew wants you to be able to articulate to the player, to be able to develop their game and understand what they need to be able to do. Because Drew literally will tweak your fingers. He'll do everything. So to answer you, I mean, it was a very enlightening experience. And it was very technical as well.
Yeah. No, I love the answer, bro. And I as somebody who considers himself to be a student of the game, like even in you calling it boring, it's funny because I can completely understand that. Like you think you're gonna see this crazy workout where they doing
Yeah.
a million in one of these like crazy combo moves. But if you've ever like I have friends who are coaches, high school coaches. So I see them like put their players through workouts, and it's a lot of the same. Like it's nothing super flashy. They're going over game moves, game movements, and that consistency of get like literally when they say get your reps in, it's muscle memory. It's getting players to a point where this feels natural to you. This is not something that feels weird when you're doing it with a defender there, time running down, whatever the case may be. Like obviously that adds, other elements, but the idea of that being second nature to the player is key, but it can be boring. And I think, depending on how tapped in you are, we've heard athletes talk about having to fall in love with like the mundaneness of training and skills training because it's very much drills and
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not getting to get up and down all the time or play ones and like obviously time is made for that, but yeah, I could see how it's enlightening but maybe wasn't as stimulating at the same time. But I mean
Well, I
still
mean,
sounds like you took away a lot from it though.
yeah, yeah. When I say boring, it's just to give the listener insight on just like
Yeah,
it's not flat. To me, it wasn't necessarily boring. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? It's because it's what I wanted to do. You
Gotcha.
understand? But like it's just to really push that point of like the consistency. It's the same things over and over and over. And one of the quotes that I live my life by, I think I heard it in the basketball space, is don't get bored with doing the things that make you great. You know what I'm saying? It's like greatness comes from reps and consistency. And sometimes you have to do this over and over and over and over and over. And then that tempting thing that you may come that where like, hey, deviate to this real quick. This is dope. This is fun. This is, hey, I'm a 7'3" center. Oh yeah, let me practice on my handles. Let me you know what I'm saying? Nah, no. Literally, you know what I'm saying? Get your back to the basket, do a little, you know what I'm saying, fake spin move or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Get up there, you know what I'm saying? Just do what you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you cannot get bored with what's going to make you great, which is what you do, why people pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like a lot of the guys that I've worked with, you know, 3-and-D guys. Literally spot up in the corner, get ready for somebody to pass you the ball, and then play your heart out on defense. That's it. Don't take no dribbles, don't do nothing extra. Just wait. Just wait for the ball to come to you, or you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's really it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's real. Learning your role as well. I think that's a huge aspect of the player development as well, or can be, like you said, knowing what's going to make you effective and ultimately like keep you
Yeah.
on the court, is all a part of that. So from the opportunity with Drew, what was that next step for you? What was the next transition of the opportunity you got? And yeah, what was the next step essentially?
Um, so Charles Harris
Mhm.
actually, so before I had officially left Mizzou, this might have been, so I graduated in 2016. He called me New Year's 2015. I was still at Mizzou, and he had got a second round draft grade. You know, they did this little basically performance review with the NFL and stuff, and got a second round draft grade. Um, so he's trying to figure out what is he gonna do. Is he gonna come out soon or? So he called me and basically, long story short, was like, you know, God is blessing me with this opportunity, but he puts people around you that can assist you. And so he kind of, you know, threw around the idea of me assisting him at the next level. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that exactly means, but let's figure it out. And so, over the course of time, we still, we're students and going through, and he was going to practice, and I was, just doing what I do. And then when was it? So when I was in LA, he started telling me agents were calling. And so when I was in LA with Drew, agents were calling and stuff like that. And so I left because I was living in LA. I was actually living with Curtis. And it's big bro. So I was living, me and Curtis were living together. I was living with him. And then I came back to Mizzou for Charles's final season because I had to meet with all these different agents and stuff. And so actually nothing specific came from Drew other than things kind of came back around. He introduced me to some big people and stuff, but at that time, after that internship concluded, I was still going to work with Drew in LA, where I could,
Mhm.
with his players that, I could, he would have me come work with. But then I just went back to Mizzou because I wanted to be close to Charles. I wanted to see him through his last season. I wanted to kind of wrap my mind around, being able to develop his brand out and different things. Because I'm like 22 at the time, just trying to figure it out. And so that's what I did. And then, we ended up picking a great agent, David Mulugeta, who's mentored me since, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Done a couple internships there with his agency, Athletes First. And um, ultimately, Charles came out. That was his last season in college, 2016. And then he got drafted in 2017. So nothing specifically from the Drew thing at that time, but I got that call from Charles. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's real. And I mean, I've seen you all partnership, over the years, and it's always been something that I've admired, just like seeing two people from Mizzou, two black men like in that space specifically as well, just navigating it together, like, and it's just always good to see like people take that journey together, and not just necessarily meet, at the top kind of deal. But you mentioned something in terms of like, developing Charles's brand. You don't have to necessarily speak to Charles's brand specifically, but what do you feel like all goes into developing the brand of an athlete?
Understanding who they are, what's who they are as a person most authentically, and then understanding, what things are out there that can speak to that. What are some of the, locally in the city that they play in, also in the city that they went to school in. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Those are kind of like my main three stops, where I'm looking at how can I create this brand narrative, this personal narrative? How can I attach that to, the people that are doing or a part of his interest in these different cities and stuff like that. And so I think you just got to understand the athlete as a person and just like what they're interested in, and then just figure out how to turn that into a business and how to monetize that, and also uh create impact. Because a lot of these players want to leave legacy on and off the field. And so you got to understand in what ways do they want to leave an impact. So it's kind of twofold. It's like from the business perspective, you want to figure out how to monetize their brand narrative and stuff like that. But then you also want to figure out ways that they can be impactful. And they both play together. You know what I'm saying? The more impactful, the more visible you are in the community, uh, the more likely you are to gain some, good partnerships and things like that.
Absolutely. Scale of 1 to 10, how difficult do you feel like it is to um not follow through, but just like navigating the process of building that, understanding how those two work together? Scale of 1 to 10, how difficult would you say that is for you specifically? Or if
Um,
you want to speak to it generally, you can.
to be honest, I mean, it's different at different times. You know what I'm saying? It's the creative part for me is very easy, to be honest. Like being able to, I think one of the gifts God gave me is vision. So it's like if I understand just really anything, or especially a person, my mind automatically will go to all these different things of like, okay, well, you said you like this. Well, we can do this, and that. You know what I mean? Like, but then you got to take it even deeper. You got to, you know, put pen and paper and really think about all these small steps that go into making something work. You know what I mean? You want to be detail oriented because things are not going to happen just because you have a good idea. You have to be able to map it out. And as I've kind of grown in my career, developing a team is very important with different skill sets. You need somebody that has logistical type of expertise. You know what I mean? Because those people can kind of help you understand all the blind spots that your ideas may have, or help you determine if your idea is even a good one. So I say for me, the creative part is like a 2, and the actual implementation is like I mean, that involves networking, what I'm saying, understanding what other businesses are, want to do, how they want to, partner with the athlete, do it, all that stuff. Like that's networking, that's planning, that's all that. the hardest part, to be honest, is athlete buy-in because they're so focused and locked in on what they're on their career. It really only if your athlete is very committed and easy to access, you know what I'm saying? It'll be easy. It'll be like all that'll be easy because it'll be like a I don't know, maybe like a five. But if you have all these great ideas and all this ability to execute them, but your athlete is not very eager or motivated to really get to it, then it can be a 28. You know what I'm saying? It can be, you know what I'm saying? It can be that. But at the end of the day, it's all fulfilling. Whenever you are able to execute, you just got to be able to speak to these guys and help them understand the value and in this. They have an amazing platform. They have so many kids, adults, everybody to look up to them, and they have family members. And you just got to figure out how to help them understand that this is what God blessed them with. And so, like, let's take advantage of this opportunity while we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can only imagine the tug of war that can be. Because I think you see it, not all athletes naturally have the marketability, like that's not a given. Some athletes just naturally have that personality. It's
Right.
very easy to market them and push them out. They make it easy. But then you have some who are very, whether it be their reserved personality, whether it be
Right.
whatever, it's a little bit more difficult to get them to buy in and then to get other people to buy in from a brand standpoint. So yeah, I can only imagine. I'd be stressed for sure, knowing me.
But then you just got to be strategic, right? You got to be able
Yeah,
to respect them for the person they are.
absolutely.
You got to be able to have those conversations like, hey, like, how can I respect your boundaries more, but still be productive? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got to be able to talk to them and figure it out. And because nobody would be there without them. So it's like you really got to respect what what is most comfortable for them, but still push them. You don't want to be like, every time they say no, you don't want to just be, oh, okay, because then you kind of like a yes man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, okay, respect, but just know, you know what I'm saying, we're missing this or so it's like like you said, like a little bit of a tug of war, but it's all out of respect, out of love, iron sharpening iron. Um, and so, you know what I'm saying? But then maybe they don't want to do all the advertisements and stuff like that. Maybe they're a type of a guy that's want to be an aggressive investor, which can really be, beneficial to their careers as well or their lives. So
yeah,
sometimes you have to pivot your approach, you know what I mean? And that's all into understanding the player as a person.
yeah. No, for sure. That's a great point. No, that makes a lot of sense as well. Different interests for different people, for
Right,
sure.
right.
Um, the introduction to Humble Over Hype, how do you transition into becoming a part of that team? And then I want you to say in your own words what exactly your role is, with the organization and just what you've learned from working in the organization up to this point.
How did Humble overhype? So when Chelsea came to Mizzou, Chelsea, the founder of Humble overhype, Chelsea Vaughn. When she came to Mizzou, she was my sister's roommate. My little sister's name is Courtney Lewis. And so when Chelsea, she was my sister's roommate, and we linked up. And Chelsea was dope. She was a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying, and all that. But I liked what she was doing. You know what I'm saying. I linked up at Mizzou with a lot of people that were faith centered. And so Chelsea was one of those true. Uh, I feel like spiritual warriors. You know what I'm saying. She was really about
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
She was really about that. And so we had a lot of great conversations. And then, actually it didn't happen in Mizzou. I mean, I knew eventually I'd be helping her out just because of my connections. Like I'm blessed to have a really good network. Um, and so I knew I would be able to assist her whenever she was ready. Now I went to law school in Houston at HBCU, and she's from Houston, and she was living in Houston, and so we was linking up all the time. And then we just started working together. We might have started working together for Houston. I don't know, but for sure in Houston. And so I just honestly, man, what it was is just my social competence, taste level. I mean, high school and your boy was best dressed, and you know what I'm saying. In college, I did my thing a little bit, and I like swag. I like sports. I know a lot of athletes and all these things. So, humble over hype being not it's not a clothing line, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But being that, we sell clothes, I just felt like and we connect with athletes, I just felt like I could add value and she did too. And so uh we just we just started trying to figure it out. We didn't have a direct idea of what I would be doing at first. I just was assisting her, doing some things she was doing. And, I was on the social media page, furthering connections for us. Saying, hey, Chelsea, we got to be at this tournament. We got to be here. We got to be there. We got to meet this person. Like I tapped in with them. They said, we can meet them and their mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. Like, so just building those relationships, giving her ideas on swag and, just she asking me, hey, D, what do you think about this design? Like I'm coming up with my own designs, just whatever it was, whatever we needed. And then, I had some people around me that had some great skill set that, wanted to assist as well. So then we kind of developed a more overall team. And then, but anyway, we kind of stumbled. Well, we basically labeled me as the basketball director because I just had a lot of basketball contacts. Even though I have football contacts too, but that's just kind of like what we settled in on. But yeah, me and Chelsea was like the one and the two, and that's what it is. And then
Yeah.
obviously we do our big real talk event every spring that's grown in an amazing way. So it's dope.
Yeah. Nah, for y'all that don't know, Chelsea Vaughn has been interviewed on the Qualified platform. She was interviewed by Jalen Johnson, actually, that was doing our Women's Month, which was a couple years back, but she talks a little bit more in depth about Humble Over Hype in that interview. But yeah, man, like you said, like from the first time I met Chelsea, like at Mizzou, like just like you said, spiritual warrior, like her faith like shines, throughout everything that she does. So even seeing just everything about Humble Over Hype is just, it's hard not to root for it. It's hard not to support it because it's such a basic principle, that reminder that God comes first, that reminder that you're bigger than the hype that sports and the media kind of gives you, like that you're still human at the end of the day and being humble in that sense. So yeah, I've been a fan and a supporter since day one. So definitely wanted to touch on, that connection and what you gained from that. I definitely don't want to forget it. And you mentioned it, but law school, man. Yeah. What went into the decision to go to law school and get that degree? And then just clarify what exactly, the degree is in, but yeah, what went into that decision, at the time that you made it?
So it's crazy. Law school really was upon the advice of David Mulugeta. So the big time agent that
Yeah.
we ended up selecting for Charles.
Yeah.
So I was just riding in the car with him one day. We was talking about, what I wanted to do and things like that. And, I was like, well, I know Charles is gonna be a first round pick and all this stuff. I'm like, I was really motivated, inspired by the story of Maverick Carter and LeBron James, coming from Akron, growing together. Me and Charles went to high school together too.
Okay.
Uh, and so, we played basketball together and all that. Charles is actually like the best player in Kansas City basketball, 2 years in a row. I was already gone, but like his junior year, his senior year, he was the best. He won like the award for like the best player in our school district. So yeah, he was a hooper though. But so anyway, um, I was with David in the car. He was asking what I want to do. I told him I wanted to be like Maverick Carter to LeBron, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And then he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I think you're smarter than that." Well, let me add clear context to that. He was like, "That's just a part of this pie." You know what I'm saying? That's a part of this puzzle. He was like, "You can do the marketing and management type stuff, but you can also do the contract." He was like, "As an agent, you can do all of that." You know what I'm saying? But there are certain things that you can't necessarily do just as a marketing rep type guy. You got to have certain credentials. And then I was like, okay, well, how do you become an agent? Because remember when I went to Mizzou for sports management, I had heard about the career path that you end up in could be as an agent. So I was like, okay, here's this agent word again. Like, how do you do that?
Mm,
He was like, well, with you being young and black, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to really be credible when you're speaking to many families. So it was like, what I did to kind of overcome that, I went to law school. I got me some credentials. A lot of parents that you're going to be talking to are not going to be able to question that. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. And then so I started looking into it, and I was like, man, I've never met nobody like David Mulligata in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't never met nobody. Pockets is like that, resume is like that, nothing. So I was like, yeah, I gotta make this dude believe. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
literally started looking into it. I didn't really want to go to law school to be honest. But I was just like, I don't got nothing else. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do in life to where I'm gonna really make it if I don't do the things that people at this level suggest for me to do. I wanted to prove myself. Like I never thought nothing would come easy. You know what I'm saying? My mama worked real hard growing up. My dad did too. And it was just like, I already knew nothing was given in this life. And I was like, this man said, literally had a conversation with me. So I'm gonna see what he's doing after I complete this. Like when I'm like, hey D, I did it. I passed the bar, I did all this stuff. What's up? Like what's popping? So I that's really why I went, bro. And I went to Texas Southern. I wanted to go to HBCU because I wanted to leave. Remember I told you I wanted to leave and go play
Yeah.
somewhere. I wanted to go to HBCU.
Mm,
Um, and so, but I didn't. So I wanted to leave very early at Mizzou. So I was like, I'm only going to HBCU for law school for sure. And I'm only going to a law school because some law schools are not even on campus. And I was
mm,
like, I'm going to a law school that's on campus. So I went to Texas Southern's. Texas Southern's law school is literally just another building. It's like Mizzou's law school. It's
yeah.
like still on campus, so you can still interact and do all the other stuff.
Yep.
So that's where I went. And David, he lived in Austin, so I wanted to be close to him too. And so, the degree, it's just a general degree. A JD is just everybody takes the same courses and stuff like that. But the differentiators in your internships. So I did like sports internships. But we all have the same degree. And then you take the bar. I took the bar in February of 2021 and then graduated in May 2021. And then yeah, and then we're here.
Yeah. So after you finished, was you able to go back to David and say, "Hey man, look, I finished. So what's up? What's good?" And what, like, if you had that conversation, where did that go? Or just what was that conversation like after you actually completed it?
I mean, he was proud of me. You know what I'm saying? He was proud of me. He was, I definitely, I kept David up to, updated on my whole journey. I go do lunch with him. He'd always take me out and, just support me along the way. He'd pay and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just being a true mentor, and a great leader. So then when I was able to do it, he's one of the first people I sent my results to, my bar results and everything like that. He congratulated me and he reposted me and stuff like that when I did the whole Instagram thing. And, it's a blessing, man, when you have people that's bought into you like that. And so, we have certain conversations. I can't really get into it
Yeah,
on here.
yeah,
Uh, but we'll see what happens in the future. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, what I'm saying, like that's my God, that's my dog, and I'm grateful to him forever for just giving me a North Star to shoot for. You know what I mean? Like they say some one of the biggest gifts you can give somebody is success in your own life because you can give them a blueprint, something to look at. And he definitely did that for me just by being successful, by being who he is.
yeah,
So, that's, we're still conversing, 2 years later, we're still conversing about things,
mm,
and I'm conversing with other people as well, just naturally. But you know what I'm saying? It's at the end of the day, that's just somebody I'm learning from, you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. No, no, absolutely. Um, Two big questions I gotta ask. What would you say has been the biggest challenge overall in your journey? so far? Like, or better yet, what's the biggest lesson that you've taken away through your journey, through things you've had to accept, overcome, get over, whatever the case may be? What do you feel like is the biggest lesson you've learned so far throughout your career?
I feel like the biggest challenge is patience. Um, because, you know, everybody talks about patience and stuff like that. And it is a requirement of life in general, right? But that don't mean you gotta like it. And you know what I mean? I'm a very patient person. I kind of learned that through this journey. It's nothing that I was like, oh, I'm just so patient, I'm good. I wasn't good. It's hard not to be where you believe you should be. But it's not nobody else's job to put you there. You got to earn it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, some people earn it more than others. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you got to keep going though. And so patience has been very challenging, but ultimately I've had to be patient. And again, you got to be aggressive though. Still, you got to be patient, but you got to be aggressive. And I think the biggest lesson. Uh, hmm, I think the biggest lesson I've learned is I'm not one of them dudes that's like, oh man, nobody believed in me. You know what I'm saying? My teacher told me I wasn't gonna be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody tell me I was gonna nah, no, literally nobody in my life told me that ever. People actually told me, oh D, I know you gonna be this, I know you gonna be rich and all that. People talk me up my whole life. And so I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That's what's up. People see something. But what I realize is people can believe in you, and a lot of people believe in me, but there's only been so many people that commit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I feel like that's the biggest lesson I've learned so far. Is like everybody can see that you got some, but when it comes to them stepping in and being and contributing, you know what I'm saying, or
yeah,
pulling you up, or actually actively doing something to take that belief to something real, a lot of people are not gonna do that. So
yeah,
you're gonna have to sit there and wonder, like, dang, that person said I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. But and they can make it happen, they can, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
like you gotta sit there and be like, you gotta think like, dang, if I really had it, like then you think like maybe I don't got it, because if I did, then they would. And it's like, nah, but you just all this back and forth. So it's just like it's so many people that you come across in life that could really help in a major way. That just maybe it's not the right time for them. Maybe they got stuff going on. Maybe they don't have the authority or power that you perceive that they do. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, don't you can't get bitter. Everybody is quick to say don't take things personally. I do. I have. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's not in a negative way. Like I hate anybody. It's just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't forgot. I won't forget. You know what I'm saying? But it's all love. Like you know what I'm saying? It's all it's a weird balance, bro. It's just like it's because I got a mama I want to take care of. I got family members. I got friends in need. You know what I'm saying? When you know, it just is what it is. And it's like one of those things, every single no or every failure to help you, every person's failure to help you when they possibly probably can, is like, dang, man, like I don't know. But anyway, that's to answer your question, that's the biggest lesson, man. People will believe all day. Everybody believe in me, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have that. You know what I'm saying? But only a few people gonna commit to you.
yeah. No, that one's a word right there, bro. I think that difference between believing and committing is so huge, because I don't want to say that, but I don't know if you would consider belief to be fleeting, but the idea that it's easy to say like, oh, I believe in you, like it's very easy to say that and let that be it. But the aspect of committing, in regards to like, okay, no, like I'm committed to helping you because
Yeah,
that's how much I believe in you. Like I'm committed to being a part of, like, the same way you offer yourself, to an athlete in terms of helping them wear those hats. Not everybody has that mentality, because not everybody's willing to commit, to a person. So I think, yeah, that's, man, that's huge, bro. That's a massive gem for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we've talked about a lot, bro. We talked about everything, man, like everything from your journey, starting with arts and sports in general, all the way through kind of figuring out exactly what you wanted to do, in the world of sports and in the realm of sports. But you end up, getting your JD, you end up working in pro athlete management, and you're essentially in this space where you get to be around athletes every day and you get to help them become not only better athletes, as you said, but better men as well. As a man, as an athlete, as a lawyer, whatever hat you wear, what makes you qualified?
Uh, what I'm gonna give you layers, I guess.
For sure, absolutely.
Of course, I definitely can't start that or answering that question without giving glory to God. I think that God qualified me, you know, early on. You feel me? Just when I think back to all the little things, right? Like when I was working on my game, trying to play, like I literally used to just, I don't know, I just had this desire to get up every day at like 12 years old, you know what I'm saying? And just be outside shooting no matter rain, snow, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to work on something every single day. And you know what I'm saying? But that was just a habit. That was just kind of developing a habit of consistency. And you know what I'm saying? I really truly loved it and perseverance. Like I always wanted to go to a gym somehow, some way. And so, I think he started doing it back in the day. And I think just vision, just always wanting to understand like trends and things. Like I said, I was best dressed in high school. So I always liked the cool looking things and the best things. And you know what I'm saying? I was always interested in things that kind of ultimately I realized connect to this industry, right?
Yeah.
Uh, essentially the marketing of myself, you know what I'm saying, and of people. And so, as I kind of navigated high school, I started becoming peers with some of the more popular people in the city and especially in college and stuff. And I just started kind of seeing what they liked and what we kind of collectively liked and were interested in, which is a lot of the same things athletes are interested in. So I just kind of it helps me develop a vision around these people as these athletes as people. You know what I'm saying? Because they had a lot of similarities. Now there's a variety of different personality types, but I was always connected to whether you're popular or not popular, brainiac, whatever it may have been. I was friends with those people in high school and in college, but specifically back growing up in Kansas City. And so I just feel like I just had I don't know, exposure to a lot of different parts of life and people. And so ultimately I think God blessed me with vision, like I spoke about earlier. And then that consistency and that work ethic to literally somebody to tell you, I think you should go to law school. And I'll be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? And then just do it. You know what I'm saying? I think what I experienced, I'm not no better than nobody else, but I do know that a lot of people probably would have looked for reasons why not to go. Oh, I don't want to get in debt no more. Law school is expensive. Uh, I don't know if I'll pass the bar. You know what I'm saying? I was dreading the bar for them 3 years. I didn't want to be. Imagine not wanting to be a lawyer, but knowing you got to take the bar. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm a fake law student. How am I getting here and really pass the bar? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So, I struggled with imposter syndrome early on. So I was like, all right. But anyway, I say all that to say my work ethic, uh, just my social competence, uh, you know what I mean? And just God, I feel like those are some of the few things that qualify me to be in my position, man. And we got a long way to go, but that persistence and stuff, man, it's definitely paving the way for your boy.
For sure. Yeah, no, I see it, man. I feel like anybody that like knows you personally, or anybody that even just is seeing it from a distance, man, I think that they see the work, they see the strides, they see the progress. And I mean, I know I'm a supporter, man. That's why, I wanted you, here to tell your story, bro, because I think a lot of people just need to know that it's other people out here persevering, it's other people out here pushing through, being consistent. I think sometimes, especially when you really grinding and you trying to figure things out and you just waiting for a sign or you waiting for that one thing to happen to kind of reassure you or reaffirm you, you feel like this is only happening to me. I'm the only person not having something happening, or I'm the only person not getting that break, whatever the case may be. But nah, it's other people that they had to wait their turn too. And sometimes turns come around faster, for others than for some, but it's people working. I can't say everybody is, but it's people working. So I don't like people feeling like they alone in the sense of, the season they in, because it's somebody out there that's either been there or that's there, right now. So no, man, yeah, definitely appreciate that answer. Yeah, man, let the people know anything else that's going on with you. Let them know where they can follow you. And just let them know any other pages or any other things, athletes that they can be looking out for, supporting, looking into, all of that good stuff. Yeah, just plug, anything major that you got going on.
Man, anything. A lot is still developing. All I'm gonna say is tap in with me on Instagram, at Dory G, DORYG, triple E, three E's. And then, that's the best way to tap in. But, I got a lot in the works. Man, obviously support my guy Charles. Follow him on Instagram, at Charles Harris FTF. What I'm saying? Support him, Kansas City legend, Mizzou legend,
Right.
great father, great husband. What I'm saying? Support, man, who else? My partner, Renee. So she's my athletic management partner. DC Renee on Instagram, as well as Ishmael Wainwright, Kansas City legend, Phoenix Suns
Mm,
player. I partner with her to we kind of work with both of the guys. She leads
mm,
Ishmael, I lead Charles, and
mm.
we do some amazing things together. Um, along with my project manager, Lene Brywell. So yeah, I mean, it's dope stuff going on. Winter Circle Kansas City is something that we started this year, which is we combine Charles's and Ishmael's influence. They're both from Kansas City. We did a big community weekend here. We did so far since July, we've done 3 camps. We've done a football camp and 2 basketball camps. One of the camps was a top 25 camp for top 25 basketball players in the city. That was great. We had Christian Brown from Denver Nuggets show up. We had Alec Burks from the Detroit Pistons show up. Shaq Harrison, who's now with the Memphis Grizzlies, show up. All Kansas City natives. And so, man, it's love. We're gonna keep on building that out. And shout out to the old Winter Circle team. Uh, but yeah, just tap in, man. IG is gonna tell it all. IG is gonna tell it all. Everything that's worth telling is gonna be on IG. If y'all want to tap in with me personally, hit the DM. But other than that, that's it, man. And I want to thank you for this opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to be able to talk and share some things with the people. You don't have to take an interest in nothing I'm doing. But you did, and I appreciate that. And I think that anytime I get any type of acknowledgement, I don't take it lightly. So I appreciate you, and to your audience, just keep going, man. I know it's cliche to say that, but it got to work somehow. Like
Yeah.
life to me is about when if life does really have winners and losers. You know what I'm saying, respectfully, and that's I think the only way you become a loser is if you quit. If you keep going and you keep striving, you it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
gonna get closer and closer and closer. And you know what I'm saying? You could be 60 years old and still have the ability to be a winner. You gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's we all winners. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the concepts behind the winner circle is to help everybody see themselves as a winner. When it's not exclusive, the circle is not exclusive. It's everybody can be a part of this. It's very inclusive, and so so that's really that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. No, I definitely appreciate those words, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I take interest in a lot of people doing dope things around me, man. I don't take people doing dope things and things that people aren't doing every day lightly, myself. So I definitely think that in some capacity those people need to be, highlighted. So I guess I just consider it doing my, my small part, but or whatever I can, I say. But yeah, but no, man, this been an amazing interview. He's dropped a million gems just for life in general. So again, I tell y'all, every episode is something to take away. It's a gem in there. you know what I'm saying, a quote, you know, it's something, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully y'all took something away from that. Tap in with him, you know, like he said. And until next week, until the next episode, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Out of there.